Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of the Smoke Room. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and others, as well as get the newest versions earlier, then you can go to their Patreon. I think it's $3 a month, but as per usual, I completely forgot to look that up ahead of time. So, anyways, on the last Let's Play, we came out to Lookout Point, and then exchanged some ghost stories, or at least asked the horse guy, what's his name? What is his name? Samuel, yes, that's the guy, about, does he know about any monsters in the area, because we're quite interested in monsters and ghosts and stuff, and he told us something, but I completely forgot about it. Maybe about a monster in these forests? Oh well, we'll have to figure that out. Also, just a side note, I had one of those moments where you like wake up in the middle of the night and you just kind of think about a video game, let's say this or Route 65, and then are like, I feel eyes on me. Then, well, time to go to bed and not think about it. We're back to bed. Boy, Facework's giving me heck today. Let's start. Where that damn fox run off to? I've been walking down this trail for over 10 minutes, and still no sign of him. Did he slip and fall? I hope not. I don't want to look any more suspicious than I already do. I finally see his bushy tail peeking out from behind a boulder a ways off near the edge. I think he might be taking a poop. Though in this universe, like in most furry ones, you don't have to clear... Well, actually, there was shelter. They did talk about that a little bit. I can catch his smell, even from all the way over here. It's got to be him. I near the boulder, dirt crunching beneath my paws, step by step. The camera clicks. I hear him mumbling. Murdoch? Talks around, grin on his face. Samuel! Anyone ever tell you shouldn't sneak up on a man sitting near the edge of a canyon? Anyone ever tell you standing so close to the edge ain't a good idea? Jebediah might have, once or twice. Heard you mumbling. I've been talking for a while now. But what do you know? The canyon hasn't replied yet. I think you're supposed to shout. Guess the stories weren't true after all. I'm almost disappointed. I mean, don't you know about echoes? Oh yeah, that was one of the ghost stories where it's like, hey, you talk into the canyon and the canyon talks back. Cliff told me to come and get you. Said he wants his picture taken. I'll head right on over then. Can't leave the boss waiting. I'm still dying to know what scared you off the other day. I already told you. Was it the truth? I hesitate. Sam, if you have any information that can help. I don't. Good. He doesn't know. I'm worried about you. Why? Because we're partners. You, Jebediah, Cliff, and I. I already told you everything. Alright. Well, we'll talk about this some other day. There's something on my mind, anyway. Something else. He wipes the sweat from his brow with his sleeve. What is it now? Cliff. You know, he's rather smitten with you. I couldn't tell. I suppose he does make it rather obvious. What about you? How do you feel? What are you getting at? Are you jealous or something? Oh, no, not at all. Quite the opposite, in fact. The damn fox is speaking in riddles again. I like to make a proposition. Another wager of yours? It better not cost me any money. I think you'll like my terms this time. Which are? I'd like to spend a night together, just the three of us. I tilt my head. You mean... Yes. What makes you think he'll say yes? What makes him think I'll say yes? Call it a hunch. I don't care much for hunches. I've seen the way he looks at you. I've seen the way he looks at both of us. You're both easy on the... Yeah, you're both easy on the eyes. I can't help myself. Wait, say he or you? Oh yeah, you lick the both of us. Me horny. Though he is a fox. Sorry, that's speciesist. Ooh. It's just a proposition, though. I don't need an answer right away. Would I get paid? If Cliff's to be believed, we'll be famous men when we get back. Okay. Perhaps even rich enough to afford you. So yes. He walks past me, clapping me on the shoulder. Give it some thought, why don't you? With my plans being as they are, I don't have to. Oh yeah. The thought isn't too bad, though. There's worse-looking clients out there. Give me one of his grins again. Murdoch goes back up the trail, stuffing his paws in his pockets. Once I don't see him anymore, I walk over to where the fox stood, to the very edge. The wind's steady. It's warm and dry, kicking up a little sand. I have to shield my eyes. Damn near feel like I'm being cooked alive. At least the view is pretty. Not sure if it's worth hiking all the way, but I'd rather be here than with the client back home. Very, very carefully, I sit down and grab my flask. My legs dangle over the edge. I take a swig. The water is heaven on my tongue. I swallow, ooh, then take another drink right after. They can miss me for a little while. Besides, after all that talk, I'm curious. Might as well try, right? Hello! I shout in the canyon, then lean back. Nothing. I don't know what I was expecting. Pour the rest of my flask's contents down my throat. The wind howling around me now, whistling in my ears. Jeez, give me a sec. There we go. Almost sounds like it's screaming. The gust kicks up, knocking the flask out of my paws. That's a hell of a gust. I try and grab it before it falls, but it knocks me off balance, forward. How are you sitting? For a moment, more than my legs are dangling off the canyon's edge. Wait, you're dangling your feet off the canyon's? Ugh. I get a sickening feeling in the pit of my stomach. This is how I die. I dip my claws into the ground, barely managing to keep myself from sliding off. The flask tumbles down below. I can hear a garbled growl rise above the noise of the wind. What was that? What's going on? Samuel! I crawl back from the edge as far as I can. I'm still breathing hard. My throat burns. A brown paw on my shoulder brings me back. Hey, look at him in his little gear. I look up and see Cliff looking down on me. He told me about them when we were walking to the town hall this morning, but I almost didn't recognize him in his new clothes. What's wrong? Nothing. I wouldn't say nothing when you've been gone for an hour. An hour? I look at my watch again. An hour past noon. I could have sworn I've only been here for 2 minutes. Murdoch returned a little while ago, but she never showed. You had us worried. Are you alright? You look rattled, to say the least. I'm fine. I just heard voices. I nod. It must have been the wind. Might have. True, the wind is rather strong up here. I must admit, I did try it myself. Out of curiosity, of course. There's no way I'd believe such tall tales. No luck, however. Just like Murdoch. I didn't like it. You look at it differently, Samuel. You should count yourself lucky to experience a phenomenon like that. I don't feel lucky. Sorry. We'll put a pin in it. What matters is that you're safe. He extends a paw. I take all too happily. By the way, he leans in. It's a good thing you missed her afternoon meal. I could barely stomach those beans. They were absolutely revolting. I can't help but feel like only somebody who's never had to miss a meal would consider going without a blessing. I'll have Murdoch ask if he wants anything quick to eat. I'll have to ask Murdoch if he wants. Is that the game? No, that's outside. After meeting back up with the rest of the group, we pack up our gear before moving on. Jebediah gives me a quick piece of bread. It's a bit stale, but it's food nonetheless. Going down, much easier than climbing a steep hill. Going downs. The scenery's getting more lush and less dusty. Thank God Almighty, I was getting sick of boulders. Even though the canyon's creaking awful lot with every bump in the road, it doesn't break again. Not sure if I could stand sitting around longer. Cliff's on the wagon now, leaving Murdoch and I to walk side by side the rest of the way. I'm still thinking about what he said earlier. I've never had two clients at the same time, ooh. Usually people keep to themselves, as they should in a town like Echo. Regardless though, I've made up my mind. I'll sneak out of camp tonight. I looked at Jebediah's map. I know where to go and what to do. If I want to, I can even take some of the supplies for myself. Cliff's brought so much food, he won't miss it. He'll miss me, but if I don't leave tonight, I'll have to go back to Echo. To Nick. To James. To William. To the gallows. I'd be a fool not to take this chance. At least, whatever happens to Nick will have been for something. Nikolai. I try and shake the thought from my head out of, put yourself first, Sam. You see, I'm just too dumb to actually see that as a threat, because I was just feeling, because me personally was like, wait, Nick? Don't say anything to Nick. Why? I mean, discretion, but why? Because it seems like, at least with the main character's feeling, Sam, is that James wants us to be a client of his and be discreet, or else something happens to Nick? I don't know. We reach the heart of the forest by nightfall. Just like Jebediah said, there's a stream nearby. Cliff and Murdoch go and wash up, while me and Jebediah unpack the supplies and feed the donkeys. After gathering some firewood, we manage to get a fire with a good flame going. By the time the sun's almost completely set, only the orange light filtering through the tree leaves were all huddled around it, swapping stories. I swear I can read. I need to read, then say. Drinking. Even Jebediah's taking it easy for a change. Thumbnail time. He turned around, and there was the miner's ghost, heaving a pickaxe high above his head. You've come for my gold, and I'll come for your life. The soldier was never heard from again. They say that if you go near the mines at exactly midnight, you can hear the miners striking the rock, looking for gold. Thud, thud, thud. He continues the pantomime the entire thing. That was a terrible story. Why did the soldier even enter the mines in the first place? Why didn't he just turn back the first time he heard the ghost? How could there be a message written in fresh blood if the ghost didn't have any to begin with? There was no one else in the mines, and you didn't mention a corpse. Fox waves his paw. Oh, come on. The appeal of the story is in the sound effects, not the internal logic of the narrative. I could tell. If you'd like to tell a tale, then go right ahead. I'm dying to hear some thrilling Bavarian stories about being deprived of chocolate that is apparently better than everybody else's. I would, but I don't want to terrify you, Murdoch. I still require your services after tonight. Just admit, you don't have a story that is as fun as mine. He drinks from the whiskey flask being shared. I have plenty. I'll have you know, my grandfather was a storyteller like no other. He is a long boy. I just think there's nothing scary about ghost tales. Clifford, do you really think I couldn't scare you if I wanted to? Not really, no. So, you're just saying that I do need to try? Well, yes, but I think you couldn't succeed if you wanted to with a ghost story. Personally, I don't need stories to scare me when we're out in the wilderness. Silly ones are fine with me. Here. Here's a thumbnail. Well, then perhaps some of you will find this more informative than frightening. Let me just check the time. Okay, we're good. Also, let me check my face. His tone voice shifts in a way that I am not familiar with. The warm lits and the lazy draws are all gone. Pay attention to what I'm about to say. A sharp tone of voice he's using now sounds precisely practice and commands attention. Almost like something you'd hear from a carnival barker, but calmer than that. There's something that scientists have known for a long time about sensory experience and the truth. It's all part of our certain experience and facsimiles for the truth of the truth. All of them. Everything from our excitement in the taste of good chocolate, to relief when perceiving the form of a recognizable gaze through the fog or a mirror. And then there's a pleasure in touch. He clasps his paws, where I can feel the warm blood in my paws pulse against the blood in the other. And there's the pain in separation too. There's even exhilaration in the most basic of familiarities, such as when you see your favorite color. But just know that even when we see something like the color red, we're not actually seeing red. Not really. We're seeing all the colors reflected back to us as light, interpreted by the cones in our eyeballs that aren't absorbed by the color red. We only know red by what it isn't. Our experience of these realities that are objective to us are just a facsimile of the true experience, compiled by organic technology of the body. What does facsimile mean? Good question. A reproduction. Murdoch nods again, the flicker lighting him in ways I don't think it has ever had before. A fake. He punctuates the word so harshly. But how could that apply to something like the taste of a piece of chocolate? What is taste but when the right combinations of molecules cause sensors on our tongue to send pleasing electrical signals to the brain? What you and I experience when tasting exactly the same thing could be close, but different, and we'd never be able to know. What? That's merely a limitation of our biology then. Nothing so frightful about that. But what we're actually afraid of is not being able to know the true difference, or knowing something incredible through the freak accident of perception for only a moment, and then never getting to know it ever again. How many things in our world do you think cannot be perceived because we can only understand them through the absence of their true essence? How many colors are out there will we never be able to see because they are beyond our capability to fathom? Oh, we drew closer to him. If we'll never be able to know, then we wouldn't have to worry about it. But you do want to know. You always want to know, because you're curious by nature. Cliff rolls his eyes, but I can see a line on his face harden. What if the same idea that applies to senses could apply to things that are fully alive, just as well as our sights and sounds and tastes? What secret world could be all around us at all times, intangible, unknowable, and unobtainable to our processing powers? What if I told you that there is such a world? Then I would say you're trying too hard. What if I told you that there are more worlds than one as well? Infinite worlds of unthinkable perception. You said yourself, the unperceivable is exactly that. Intangible. But if I told you there could be ways to perceive some things locked away in the brain to let us perceive, then I'd test them. Easy. Some people say there's a way. Well, then I'd simply have to hear it, don't I? Just find a well that's dark enough and deep enough. It should be so dark that you couldn't be able to see your reflection. Some people, when they look down, say they experience the overwhelming sense that something is looking back at them from the bottom of the well. And they feel that's looking back every time. It sounds to me like they're scared of the idea of a reflection. Or maybe it's just uncomfortable to be stared at. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Alright, fine. What's fine? I'm admitting that was certainly better than the first attempt. So you're saying I scared you? I'm saying the story was successful. I'm not scared, but I can tell that I did scare you. Think what you like. I still have to go off my experienced reality. Men frighten me more than monsters or ghosts ever could. Doesn't seem to stop you from cozying up to Sam over there. Oh, come now. I certainly do the same if I could afford to hire a bodyguard. I look for a response from Jebediah, but the horse is still staring into the flames. You all right, Jebediah? The firecracker crackles. Fine enough. Just enough, huh? You're a fine enough group to guide. But very little beats the comfort of your own home. What's so comfortable about home? I'm plenty comfortable here by the flames and under the stars. Well, at home, you can drink as much as you want without fear of dehydrating. That's where you might be wrong, buddy. I can drink a lot and get hella dehydrated. He jerks his head at a flask in Murdoch's paw. And you can polish a banner, wherever you like, without fear of somebody walking in on you whenever you need a jar of beans opened. Whenever they need a jar of beans opened. I was like, polish a banner? What the hell? I was like, Unless you're living with my mom. Because for some reason, as far as I can remember, she's lived in 3 houses. All of them do not have locks on the door of the bedrooms, except for the master bedroom. It's like, come on, why? Do most places just not have locks on the other bedrooms, or do they just kind of seek that out? I don't know. I mean, they don't seek it out, it just seems too often, you know? That only happened one time. Murdoch looks incredulously at Jeb, then to Cliff. I mean the beans, not the walking in. That's the most frank I've ever heard you speak, Jeb. Yeah, well, you never saw him at the stack. Hush now. This is still a professional endeavor. Quite. Right. But you're the one who brought beating off into the conversation. He shakes the bottle, and more splashes out. In peace. Peace being the key word of that statement. Speaking along this train of thought, Jebediah, Cliff and I want your opinion on something. No, wait, Jebediah, Cliff and I want your opinion on something. No, I don't. No, don't. Murdoch licked the inside of his mouth, nodding, holding up a digit. We got to talking while you're fixing the wagon, and he pauses. He's really milking this for all it's worth. Cliff buries his face in his palms, groaning. You're a horse, right? You only noticed just now? Beside the point. Cliff had asked me if it's true what they said about horses, that they've got a big... He gestures to his crotch, spilling some of the whiskey on himself. Jebediah doesn't seem impressed. It does its job. Sam, care to weigh in? I'm not answering that. You sure? You spent quite a lot of time alone together. We did? Surely there must have been more going on than just fixing a wagon. Oh. That's all we did. He's right about those horses, though. Dreadful boys. I suppose we'll never know, Cliff. That's enough out of you. No more alcohol. The group laughs as Cliff tries to take the bottle and Murdoch pivots away. I look at my watch. Murdoch notices. I suppose it's about time, isn't it? What's our itinerary for tomorrow? We'll be cutting through the forest for most of it. The shade should be nice. We'll be out by evening and reach the settlement by noon the day after. The forest that big? And more treacherous than you think. Plenty of things that can kill you if they sink their teeth into you. I thought we left Mr. Hendricks behind in Echo. Jeb and Murdoch laugh. I'd join if he wasn't a client of mine. Just keep an eye out. Snakes and spiders about. What kind of spiders? Black widows and tarantulas. And plenty of them. Makes the fur on my back and my neck stand on end. Had one in my tent one time. Didn't end well. Did you get bit? For the spider. He mimes, smacking his arm. My heart palpitates. Oh, fearless leader. Not fearless, just not stupid. The fox stretches, handing Jebediah the whiskey bottle. The horse takes a swig. Knowing all of that, I think I'll retreat to my tent. We'll have a long day ahead of us, and I'd rather not be spending most of it nursing a hangover. Estelle looks at me with pleading eyes. I think I'll stay up for a little while longer. Perhaps I'll do some stargazing. Fuck. So long as you two stargaze quietly. Jebediah stands up as well, poking the fire with his stick. I'll go to bed too. There's a book I want to finish. I'll see you fellas at dawn. Good night. The fox and the horse both retreat for the night. Leave me with the stoat together. So hold the phone for a sec. I mean, I guess they have little lanterns, too. Though you'd think, survival stuff, you just read it by the fire or something. I can't believe he's not tired. Ooh woo. Yeah, can we go a little while longer? Yeah, sure. The cicadas are pretty loud. I doubt I could sleep even if I wanted to. So, you're not joining them, huh? I need some quiet before bed. You ain't gonna get it here. I didn't mean it quite so literally. He slips a little closer, grabbing my paw. I squeeze it a bit, mostly because I feel I'm supposed to. The stars are beautiful tonight. They don't shine this bright where I'm from. I guess your painter friend can learn a thing or two from a visit. Anthony van Hauslik? He laughs. I suppose good. Were he still alive? He's dead? He's been for quite a few years. You couldn't have known. I wonder what he'd have painted with the scenery. A warm, inviting, crackling fire, a beautiful full moon, and even better company. He squeezed my paw back, and I feel uneasy. Thank you for helping me realize my dreams, Samuel. Doesn't feel like he's letting go anytime soon. Maybe if he runs his mouth a bit, he'll get tired. What are you going to do once your thesis is finished? I intend to travel back to Europa and finish my studies. After that, I don't know. I might travel the world for a while. But I'll have to return to Bavaria eventually. To your family? Yes, my father isn't getting any younger, and they're expecting me to become a man of the house, as it were. He looks off to the side, and his lip curls downward. You don't sound too happy about it. Well, you heard those men the other day, Samuel. You heard the sheriff. I don't think that's what William was upset about back there, but I don't think he needs to hear about that right now. I'm not exactly the pinnacle of manhood. I'm not sure if I even qualify as a man in my father's eyes. I might have sailed to the whole different continent, but the comments and the jeers are the same no matter where I go. I always had the impression that most folk find me what? Well, the girls at the hip were clamoring to see who you booked earlier. A lot of them seemed pretty eager to spend the night with you. So you always came across as desirable enough to me. Because I've never had problem socializing with women. Men have always been a different story. Perhaps I was foolish to think that in this wild, untamed frontier, I'd be free to love who I want, no matter the gender, I'd say. But he's not wrong about how a man can treat other men. Out here, or anywhere. As soon as you're 1 foot out of step, they might never see you the same. Well, fuck. Fuck what the rest say about manhood and respectability. Hell yeah. You don't gotta answer to anyone but yourself. So long as you have money, anyway. You're lucky you're loaded. I wouldn't have put it so bluntly, but yes, you have a point. He leans on over and hugs me tight, the weasel paws clamping on my back. So, I was thinking about something. Whatever you need. Do you really need me much longer for this trip? He looks like he got sucker punched. Sam? Whatever do you mean? I mean, you're already in very good hands with Jeb, and Murdoch knows plenty of things. You'll be in the settlement sooner than you know. I could just take off early. But why? We're stronger traveling in a group. It's dangerous for you to just tromp off into the wilderness without rations or water. Plus, He swallows a spit. I've never had an experience like this before, and I don't want it to end so soon. Do you? Well, I'm sorry, Professor. We agreed that this was entirely business from the beginning. Oh, I see. So, if you want me to give you back the money, I'll rip the check in half. No. I never specified how far you'd have to go. Keep the money. The fire crackles, and I feel a lump in my throat. Listen, Mr. Tibbets. There's stuff you don't know about. About me, I mean. I can assure you, the same applies for myself. Right, well, I don't think it would be in my best interest for me to go back to Echo. So I need to go my own way. I understand. I've had a decent time on this journey. And I have too. He lets that hang in the air for a while. I mean that genuinely. I'm glad. I don't get a whole lot of opportunities to be genuine. So, there's something we definitely have in common. He chuckles, a bit forlorn. Too true. I'll tell you what. His ears perk up, and his eyes shine as he gives me his attention. I'll stick this out until we get to the reservation. His entire posture straightens, and he practically bounces up. Oh, thank you. What was that? Well, I think with that little bit of scene change there, we might call it. Because a cliffhanger. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, so we are over time. And, can't tell how long some of these scenes can be. So, unfortunately for you, that's going to be the end of this Let's Play. Also, that was the sound from, I think, Route 65, if I remember. So, yeah. Please comment, guys. I like comments. How much you like, dislike, tips, as always. If you like my YouTube and like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the videos to help it grow. And please remember to spay your animals to help control the pet population. And if you want to play this game, it is on itch.io for free. But if you want to support the people that make this game, and I'm sorry, I'm also trying to really. I was trying to look up the thing, but it was like, nope. How much it would be? Oh, come on. I type in a Dasher and it's like, is it Dasher shipping things? Like, no, don't care about chips. Care about wolf boyfriends and pools. Oh, where is it? Well, I'm pretty sure it's $3. I'll remember it next time I do stuff. Oh, actually, we're gonna get there. Is there anything else to say? Nope. Oh, yeah, I was gonna look up something else, but that's another time. Yep, $3. And until next time, another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of the Smoke Room, a game about lovers and ho-wo-wo-woes. Or bears. Don't know. Are there bears? I mean, there's the bear guy from the stag, but then are there bears? I mean, there's horsemen, but there's donkeys. Don't know. So thanks and see ya.